I never script any of my videos word for word. The way I do things is with key pointers, and I'm just experienced enough now to be able to fluently discuss something from that one pointer. But for today's video, I've not even made any points that I want to keep referring back to. I've had to take a few days. I saw a lot of people just rushing out videos about how Battlefront 2 is over, and they're talking about that in the moment. They're not letting anything digest. I wanted to let things digest so I could give you the best possible video on my thoughts on this. I'm very furious with EA, not DICE, let's make that very clear. I'm furious with EA. And just so there's no big dramatic next video saying like, what's next now after Battlefront 2's finished, the plan for me has been very clear for a long time, everyone, and you'll know that if you've been a keen viewer of the channel, but two of my most popular videos on the channel now are LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga related. I've got a lot of video ideas for this game, and I am going to move over to that, I suppose, primarily in a lot of ways, because we aren't going to be getting any more Battlefront 2 content. And I would say, when it comes to this game, I'm very passionate about it. Definitely more passionate than I've ever been about Battlefront, just because the LEGO games are my childhood. But I've still got a lot of Battlefront videos, believe it or not, that I want to make. Jedi Fallen Order 2 is all but confirmed at this point as well. So there's still a lot going on, plus any other Star Wars games. But LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, I asked you guys in the stream the other day, are you excited for content on that game? And over 95% of you were on board with it. I understand that everyone will be. So Battlefront 2's cancellation, I mean, a lot of people saw it coming, including myself, but I never really thought in depth about it. And for some people, you know, this is their lives. They have channels on this game and that's it. Like, that's a primary focus of their life. And I can't even begin to imagine how hard this is going to be for them. Not just that, but people who come home from school every day, work, wherever you've been, and people come home to play this game, and just to know it's not being supported anymore must really hit hard. And I am very sorry for you, because especially in a time like right now where most of us are at home, we're in quarantine, and this game might be one of the very few things that brings a bit of joy to your life, and I can't imagine how hard that news is to hear for you, especially that this game is coming to a close. And personally for myself, I've always kept doors open on other things, so thankfully for me in general, this game isn't the end, and it's not hit me in that way too hard, to be honest. But in terms of the wider community, I am worried, because I know this game meant a lot to people, and obviously it meant a lot to me as well. I fought so hard for this game in the beginning when it was going through the pay to win stuff, and I made rant video after rant video after rant video, and some people called me negative, and others, you know, the vast majority stood behind me, and it's down to people like myself and the many others who complained and made it clear that we cared about this game, that EA came back and supported it. And that was the plan. I tried to state this a few months ago, probably not the best timing because it was around Fallujah and the game was just getting so much positivity back then, and I kind of made it clear in a video that the only reason EA and DICE are supporting this game, or EA in particular are allowing DICE to support this game, is to get their reputation back up from the disastrous launch, and once that's done, they'll abandon it. And what do you know? That happened. Even when I made that video, lead designer Dennis responded and he didn't deny a thing. So it's always been their plan. I always saw it coming, and like I said, a lot of people overlooked that video at the time just because of the amount of positivity, but I knew things were possibly going to go this way. And honestly, I just really hate EA after this. This is why I've struggled to work with them in the past as well, just because I can't let go of things they do like this. Let's look at some examples here. Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game for Star Wars. This has been a thing before Battlefront 1, and it outlived the second Battlefront as well. Why? Because it's pay to win. And obviously not as many people call out this pay to win with a mobile game because it's less popular, and it seems to be more with the games on consoles or PC that people seem to pick that stuff out on. Mobile games seem to be able to get away with it. But Galaxy of Heroes gets so much content, yes, not as much time and effort and materials and resources need to go into a mobile game, but the point here is that EA continue to support that because it brings them in money. And now Fallen Order 2 is all but confirmed, which I'm very happy about because I enjoyed the first one. But why have they done that? Because they know the first one did really well and it's more money for EA. That's their game, like any company. But something like Battlefront, where a lot of players had enough in-game currency to not have to buy crystals to support the game. They knew they weren't making enough money off it, and now their reputation is redeemed. They don't care at all. They don't care about channels like myself, the thousands of other channels, the how many, I don't even know, players this game has, and just the community that whether what side of it you were on at any point, whether you were for decisions or against decisions, it built up a community and just people who enjoyed it. And just like that, EA can abandon it because their work is done. Their reputation, as far as they go in this game, to the average player who doesn't really play Battlefront 2, the reputation is restored on this game personally. I don't know about other areas, probably not. But Battlefront 2 is seen as that game now that turned itself around, and that's EA's job done, so they don't care about the rest of us. But don't worry, because they still care about Galaxy of Heroes, which brings them in so much money, and I'm sure they're dreaming right now of the sales on Fallen Order 2, but Battlefront 3 doesn't look likely. This can go off Dennis's wording in the latest community update video about how the servers will remain up and they're looking forward to hearing what we get up to on the Battlefront for years to come. Or also the fact that the forums are shutting down. They've supported both Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 and now they're shutting down. Dennis has moved on from the game, the lead designer now, who's been with Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. And so many things didn't make it into Battlefront 2, notably things that really mattered, like private matches. I think Dennis's early comments back in 2018 about female heroes, obviously they never ended up coming after the ones we already had. We were all expecting Ahsoka, Ventress, but whoever those female heroes were originally intended to be, whether they were Jyn Erso, Padme, none of them ended up coming to the game. I think, like I said, the big one, private matches. There's still loads of bugs in the game. I mean, as far as I can tell, they're probably going to do another bug fix. When Battlefront 1 ended its support, it still got another bug fix at the time. It got one more. So I could expect one more for this game as well. But I've seen a lot of people complaining about the Darth Maul skin as well, and I've been completely for challenges like that. But for all heroes, the way they've done it for Darth Maul, the 5,000 kills just for him, is great in terms of giving you something where you can actually feel pride and accomplishment when you've got it, but it doesn't help that it's only for one hero, so everyone's going for more. They should have done it for Palpatine as well, for the Rey skin maybe as well. But whether you like the 5,000 kills or not, it's to keep people playing and to basically say, well, you're not going to get this anytime soon unless you have pretty much no life, honestly. And I don't mind people playing the game as much as they want, but if you've got the mole skin already, come on, there are a few issues there. I'm just gonna say it, you shouldn't have it already. But they put something out like that to say, well, you're not getting it anytime soon, and that's because we're not supporting this game again anytime soon, if ever. So yeah, for someone like myself now, who I look back to 2018, and admittedly I personally didn't have as much going on in my life then and had a lot more time to just put into Battlefront, and I do feel like I was one of the vocal people who got this game back on the map and rallied other people behind me as well. I wasn't the only one by any means, but to know now that, you know, that work did pay off, but once EA redeemed their reputation, it's over. It's not a great feeling. This is why I've been hesitant with EA in the past as well. You know, DICE, I don't agree with every decision DICE make, but they were dedicated. You could tell those developers were dedicated to this game, and since with a few tweets here and there after the game's cancellation, you could tell they weren't done. And it must actually suck for them being governed by EA, because I'll tell you this, I couldn't be governed by EA in any way. I really, really despise that company, especially after the way they've treated this now. Battlefront was back on the map, people were really enjoying it, and they just said no to it. Thank God LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is not made by EA, because I'd probably be dreading the game. In fact, TT Games, who make the LEGO Star Wars games, I'd be much more willing to work with them because they made up a large portion of my childhood with those games, and they're not EA by any means. This has really, really just annoyed me with EA. I mean, they dropped support for Battlefront 5 as well when that flopped. They've dropped support for Battlefront 2 in the same week now, just to move on to Battlefield 6. That will, once that's been out for a while, eventually get cancelled as well, just to work on Battlefield 7. They can't support games for too long. The only reason they did it for a bit longer with Battlefront 2, like I said, was to get that reputation back. The dream game I wanted, and in the back of my mind, the dream game I was hoping for here with certain aspects, was a Star Wars game with graphics like Battlefront 2, with the amount of content of Battlefront 2, which is the point we were getting to now, that could be supported for years and years. We'd eventually get to the point where we could be adding minor characters to the game because it would just keep getting supported. A bit like Galaxy of Heroes, like I said, that's a mobile game, doesn't need as much resources or effort put into it as a game like this, where you could eventually have a Battlefront game that would be supported for years and years and just keep getting more and more content. And that's what I thought they were going for. After the disastrous game of Battlefront 1, which I didn't mind it, but it didn't go down great, that's what I thought they were going for here. All three Star Wars eras, they could pretty much add anything to it. And one day we will get Battlefront 3, I have no doubt of that. Whether it's made by EA or not, I don't know. But will that just be another cycle of once that gets enough content, it's cancelled? And people weren't as in demand about the content in Battlefront 1 as they are Battlefront 2, but now with iconic characters in the game such as Anakin, Obi-Wan, General Grievous, people are going to want all of the content that's in Battlefront 2 in Battlefront 3 whenever that does come out, and that seems unlikely on top of other content as well. Things are going to have to be missed here and there. It's such a mess, and they've completely just destroyed the Battlefront name at this point, because they brought it right back, but the name now is going to fade, and for what? Because things were so good. I've never seen things like this in a long time. I haven't made a rant video full on like this in a long time, because things were great. But yeah, honestly, it sucks. I don't even usually use that word much, but this sucks, doesn't it? It's just awful. I can't believe what they've done, and you know, thank God I've got LEGO Star Wars videos that have already done well, and I'm so enthusiastic about wanting to cover that game. But what about channels that aren't into that? Because not everybody's into the LEGO games. What the hell are they gonna do? They can force themselves to cover it, I suppose, but you can't force yourself to cover something that you're not enjoying. Thankfully, I can move on to that. I'm sure some other guys can as well, but you do this, it's really just a shocking move. It really is, and as you can tell, I'm annoyed. I'm really annoyed about this. But like I said, I've still got a few Battlefront videos I want to make. I can name at least 8 in my head, and with my upload schedule, that'll be a few more weeks of content there. And I've got a ton of LEGO Star Wars videos, trust me. You're probably thinking, like, are they just going to be repeats of other people's videos? I've got some that haven't been covered yet, and you have to remember that character series I started, I just said it, I started that, so I've got a lot more original ideas for LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. I'm really looking forward to that game this fall, I believe. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do hope you somehow enjoyed. I don't think you could possibly enjoy this one. And thank you for everything as well over the course of the years. Your support has meant a lot, and this isn't the end for me, but some people may choose to leave the channel now. Even knowing that there's still going to be Battlefront videos and streams on the channel, they may just be done because the game's done. So for those of you that may unsubscribe after this or move on, thank you. It really does mean a lot that you've stuck by me and subscribed to this channel, because I can remember a time when nobody would do that. So yeah, I'll see you all next time.